A cacophony of angry and despairing voices across the Middle East and the world has urged Donald Trump not to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel at a planned speech on Wednesday, warning him that any such announcement would destroy the peace process, strengthen the extremists and weaken the US standing in the world. The Pope issued an unusually heartfelt plea to the president to respect the status quo on the city, and to conform with UN resolutions. He told thousands of people at his general audience, "I cannot keep quiet about my deep worry about the situation that has been created in the last few days." Pope Francis said he hoped wisdom and prudence prevail, in order to avoid adding new elements of tension to a global panorama that is already convulsed and marked by so many cruel conflicts. The spokesman for the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, said the US was plunging the region and the world into a fire with no end in sight. He added that the Organization for Islamic Cooperation would meet in Istanbul on December 13 in a special session to coordinate a response. The Turkish Foreign Minister, Mevlut Cavusoglu, disclosed he had told the U.S. Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, that Washington was making a grave mistake, and the whole world was against the decision. Turkey has suggested it might cut diplomatic ties with Israel if the plan goes ahead. British Prime Minister Theresa May said on Wednesday that she would call Trump about his proposed announcement. The status of Jerusalem should be determined as a negotiated settlement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, and Jerusalem should be a shared capital, she said. Both Germany and France, fierce critics of the decision, updated travel advice to their citizens, warning of possible clashes in Israel and the occupied territories. Trump is expected to declare formal recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel later on Wednesday, breaking with years of precedent and potentially leading to unpredictable consequences for the Middle East. Trump's planned announcement was welcomed by Jewish groups, including the British Board of Deputies, which described the outcry as bizarre. The Israeli government remained silent, awaiting details of the announcement. The response across the wider Middle East, ranging from Syria to Yemen, has been universally hostile, including from the US's steadfast ally Saudi Arabia, which believes the U.S. move damages Riyadh's continuing efforts to negotiate a peace deal, starting with a unification of the Palestinian leadership. At the request of Jordan and the Palestinians, an emergency meeting of Arab foreign ministers will be held on Saturday. The Arab League warned any recognition of Jerusalem would be a blatant attack on the Arab nation. Of all the issues at the heart of the enduring conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, none is as sensitive as the status of Jerusalem. The Holy City has been at the center of peacemaking efforts for decades. 70 years ago, when the UN voted to partition Palestine into Jewish and Arab states, Jerusalem was defined as a separate entity under international supervision. In the War of 1948 it was divided, like Berlin in the Cold War, into western and eastern sectors under Israeli and Jordanian control respectively.